It is 2 o'clock on Tuesday, which means it is time to talk to me. And of course, it is the first Tuesday of the month. And as promised, I have Dr. Mommy here. You know, y'all call her the money doctor. I get to call her Mommy. But she makes me say doctor first too, so. So we're I love her. Even when she's rough on me. Y'all, she was rough on me last month. Let me tell you. And when this show was over, after we finished, we sat around and we talked more and more about it. I even talked to my daughter about it and about credit and just your experience with money. Because as she was saying, how you're introduced to money plays a major part on how you feel about it going forward. She was using the analogy of being introduced to love and all of that stuff. And while I understand and I agree with her, my experience, of course, being introduced to love was a lot better than my experience of being introduced to money because I wasn't passed through in love. Money, different story. Anywho, so with all of that being said, if this is your first time joining us, just know this is,
I'll be right back.
She finna fuss at somebody. I didn't do it. I'm innocent. It wasn't me. And I'm happy about that. But anyway, if this is your first time joining us for Talk to Me Tuesday, the first Tuesday of every month, we go live and with Dr. Cassandra Scott. Yes, she's my mother, but she is also a certified financial social worker. So she has a doctorate degree in social work and she does this. So this part will deal with, this is related to credit, but more of your emotional connections to money to help you to be fully well-rounded, because with Credit One USA, we believe in changing lives. And part of that is dealing with some of the emotional issues and the behavioral so that you have a changed life. That being said, I'm gonna turn it over to the doctor, and from there forward, you know, I'll jump in if she asks me to, but I'll be here.
And I will ask you to for sure. Because part of this is, I'm not going to talk about you. You're going to answer some questions just like the audience is answering questions. So I actually am going to be referring to my notes a little bit because in the last conversation, there may have been things that I might have left out. And so this time I want to make sure that I don't overlook anything. So let's just kind of recap a little bit about the first journey that we took. And we were talking about your introduction to money. How were you introduced to money? How did you feel about money when you first met money? How often did money show up in your life? Was it a continuous relationship where you and money were interacting every day, every week, every month? Or was it like a Santa Claus relationship where money only showed up once a year and it was like magic and then it disappeared? Or was it a situation where you felt like you had to do everything or anything to get money, and that even after you got it, it was just kind of fleeting, where you did you have the kind of relationship with money that money could disappear at any time and you wouldn't know where it was or when it was going to come back into your life? So if you think about it like a relationship with a person, especially with an intimate partner, some of those same issues that we develop with this is a relationship. And so some of the same issues that you may have, distrust, unfaithfulness, unpredictability, security, all those issues or challenges are the same things that you have with money. And so from that perspective, we're going to move on today and start thinking about the actual journey. Are you ready to take this journey? So just like if you were thinking about marriage therapy or couples therapy.
I'm in couples therapy with money, y'all.
One of the things that happens is people say, oh, we need to go to therapy. And they get into therapy, and then therapy starts doing some things and really dealing with some real difficult issues. And then people just quit, or they might say, oh, wasn't expecting all that. So as
the
we
therapist
take
ain't
this
on my
journey,
side. That's
I
just
want
what
you
it
to be
is.
thinking about your readiness to take this journey. Because as we go along, you're going to learn some things about yourself. And they may not be things that you really want to hear, but they may be things that you need to address so that you can get a better relationship with money. So I want to know if it's really hard work If during this process you find out that it's hard work to change your behavior or change your relationship with money, are you still ready and willing to commit to that? So understand this. If you do nothing at all, nothing will change. You'll have exactly the same relationship with money right now throughout the rest of your life. If you do the same things you're doing, you will maintain the same kind of a relationship you have with money through the rest of your life. If you change your behavior, you're going to change your relationship with money. And you actually have the ability to control your destiny by changing your relationship with money, if that's what you want. But it does take time and effort. Any relationship takes time and effort. Relationships aren't like, they're like seeds in a garden. If you throw them out, I just throw them out there anywhere, they're going to grow wild. You're going to have weeds. You're not going to reap a good harvest.
I need you to talk a little louder. Yes, we can get it closer.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're not going to have a good harvest. You're going to have all kind of problems with critters coming into your garden. But if you plant your garden, if you take time to till your soil and plant your garden in rows and to weed it correctly and get all the rocks and things out and prepare your soil and then plant your seeds, your garden can grow and you can have a very good harvest. So that's what we're going to be doing now. We're going to be taking all the weeds and things that we have allowed to grow into this relationship that don't need to be there, and we're going to start removing those. So it's going to take time and effort. The first thing I want you to do is say to yourself now, this is going to take time and effort. Say it. This is going to take time and effort.
This is going to take time and effort.
And I'm willing to make the investment in myself.
And I'm willing to make the investment in myself.
To have a positive relationship with money.
To have a positive relationship with money.
So that I can control my destiny and my future.
So that I can control my destiny and my future.
Excellent. So, okay, the first thing we're going to do is, if you've decided that this is what you want to do, I want you to define where you're at right now with your relationship. So I'm going to give you 4 different categories. You pick one, and then we go from there. Each person's destiny, each person's journey is different because they have a different starting place, they have a different relationship, they have different experiences, different understandings, knowledge, and so everybody's going to be different. But even though you're different, you're going to probably fall into one of these 4 categories, and they're broad categories. So the first one is pessimistic. Are you pessimistic about your relationship with money? Are you at the point where you say, you know what, my credit score, my credit card balances, my student loans, my whole financial portfolio, it is what it is. It's not good, and no matter what I do, it's going to stay the same. I just don't believe I can change it. That's pessimistic. And there are some people who are there. If you're there, own it, and let's talk about it. The second one is tolerable. Well, I at least pay my bills on time, sort of. I'm getting by. I can make it. I struggle. But if any kind of a situation came up, I would be devastated. I either have to pray for a miracle or run out and borrow something. This is why, what those credit loans, what do they call them?
Payday loans.
Payday loans. This is why they thrive, because they know that people have not prepared for emergencies and they're going to have to borrow. And because they know you have to borrow, they don't mind charging you 28%, 35%, 55%. I have seen them charge up to 150% of a loan because a person was an emergency. And don't think that people didn't go get the money because they needed it. They had to have it. You don't want to be in that kind of destitute situation. But if you're there now, if that's where you're starting at, own it. That's called tolerable. That's a tolerable situation. If you don't believe it'll change, that's pessimistic. This is tolerable. The next one is optimistic. Okay, I'm paying my bills on time and I'm current. I have a personal spending and savings plan. We're going to talk a lot about personal spending and savings plans. Some people used to call it budget, but that doesn't make sense. So we're going to talk about this personal spending and savings plan.
Budget doesn't make sense.
Budget, people have such a negative connotation when you say budget. It sounds restrictive, and it doesn't sound futuristic or optimistic. But a personal savings and spending plan is exactly what you want. You want to save, you want to spend.
Okay,
So
well,
we're gonna talk about developing a personal saving and spending plan.
I'm gonna do that now.
And
Start calling it that.
And so with Optimistic, I'm in the process of controlling my relationship with money. So some people are optimistic; they're at that point and they're ready to go. Then there's stable. Stable is I created and I am following my personal saving and spending plan. I've started to reduce my debt. I have some savings. I'm actually starting to build my assets. I now manage my money, and my money does not manage me. Mm-hmm. Is that where you're at? So pick one of those 4 categories where you're at, where you're going to start at.
I'm optimistic, I think.
Okay, and so one of the things I want you to do, because you're going to be going on a journey, I advise you to actually have a journal, to start a journal, so that you know where your starting point is and where you can trace it back. Because I can tell you this, in another year, you're going to want to look back and say, how far have I come? Not just in terms of what your finances say about you, but what emotional changes and behavioral changes have I made? Where did I start and how am I now? And you might want to check that like every 3 months or something like that. Actually go back to the starting point and say, wow, I can't believe my relationship was that bad. And look how much I've improved it just by changing my behavior and my attitude. So there's 2 things that we're going to really explore that are going to be part of this journey that you'll be evaluating and changing and analyzing as we go along. The first one is going to be your financial behavior. We're going to talk about your financial behavior. How do you behave with money? Because money can't decide how it's going to behave with you. So that's the only difference in this than couples therapy or marriage therapy. You are the only one that has the control. It's not like money can jump up and spend itself. It just doesn't do that. So it's all up to you.
I think my money does. My
It
my
might
money
feel that
actually
way.
sneaks out in the middle of the night. They're actually called teenagers, and they
It might feel that
siphon it,
way.
like they
For a
just-
lot of people, it just, you wake up and you say, oh, my money left my wallet.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm teaching my great-granddaughter. She got up the other day and she was looking for her shoes. And I said, where did you put them last night? And she said, I don't remember. And so she looked and looked and looked, and she finally found them. And I said, now let's make a deal. If you put your shoes in the same place every night, shoes don't walk away, so they'll be there when you wake up. So she picked a place to put her shoes, and the next morning she woke up and her shoes were still there. And every day she says, oh, my shoes are still here. That's how money is. Where you put it, where you spend it, that's where it's going to go. And so you have to be the one to say, in this counseling, in this money journey where you're healing your relationship, it is going to be completely and utterly in your control. You are 100% in control of this. In a relationship with a person, they have some input and you have some input. But in this situation, you are 100% in control of your journey and your destiny, and
like
therefore
that.
your outcome.
I like the control
Yeah,
part.
you are in control. What your financial picture is going to be be based on what you paint it to be. So if you're ready to take the journey, you decided where your starting place is. I say get a journal so that you can write some of the answers to these questions down. And you're going to be exploring your emotional connection with money as we go along.
Okay, so hold on 1 second. Can you go over the 4 options again?
So the first one is pessimistic, and pessimistic really means it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it, so it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. The second one is tolerable, and tolerable is, well, I pay my bills, but I really can't get ahead. I just feel like there's nothing I can do to get ahead. If I get in an emergency, prayer is the only thing that I can depend on. Optimistic is I have a personal saving and spending plan, and I'm working it, and I'm starting to move to get in control of my relationship with money. I've decided I'm going to have a different relationship, so I'm starting to change. And then stable means I'm following my personal saving and spending plan, and I am decreasing my debt. I have some savings, I'm building assets, and I am well on my journey to having a wonderful relationship with money so that my destiny will be what I want it to be. Okay, so those are the 4. So let's talk about why it's necessary for you to do this in a journey. Most people wake up one day, like a diet or any other life-changing decision, and they say, okay, today is the day. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to start today and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change my money. And they start from right there and they move forward, or they think they're moving forward. I'm going to put me a budget together, and from this day forward, I'm going to go ahead. Well, the truth of it is, if you don't know how you got to where you are right now, if you haven't examined the feelings, the emotions, the habits, the triggers that brought you to this point right now, you probably are going to repeat those same behaviors later on. Because you haven't been able, if it's like saying, I'm following my map, and or even my GPS, and it says turn north, but I don't know which way north is, so I just make a turn, and then I end up getting lost. Well, I can recalibrate, and from wherever I'm at, I can find my new destination. But because I still don't know what does turn north mean, when I get to another point where it requires me to turn north, I'm stuck again. So I just keep recalibrating and recalibrating. That's why people start diets over and over again. That's why people start money journeys over and over again, because they haven't stopped to say, what is the behavior? What is the information? What is the emotional thing that is leading me to where I am right now? And why can't that is where I have to change. Once I change that, I don't keep, sorry about that, a little set difficulty. Once I change that behavior, then I'm able to go ahead and follow the directions, and then I'm going to do better. But without that, I'm not going to be able to do it. The second thing about this is we're going to be talking about your financial knowledge. What do you actually know about money? Money has many aspects, just like a person. Money can be consistent, money can be problematic, money can be stressful, money can be sustainable, money can be security, can help provide security. And people say, money doesn't bring you love. Money can bring you peace of mind. Money can bring you, can reduce your anxiety. And because of that, you have to learn all you can about what money is there for and what money can and can't do. Let me tell you one of the things that I see a lot. I see, especially with women, now this is probably true of men, but because I haven't been working with men that much, I can't tell you, but I see this in women. Women tend to get married as a way to find security. And then all the things that they expect, they put all this burden on their mate to fulfill all of their needs. And a lot of those needs are there because they don't have a good relationship with money. It's not his responsibility to provide all of these, to meet all these needs. Sometimes it's money's responsibility to meet those needs. And then the problems the tensions start happening in a relationship because she's going to him saying, where's the money for the food? Where's the money for us to get a bigger house? Where's the money for us to have a car? Where's the money for us? Now, those aren't the words she's using, but that's what she means. And because that money isn't there to do those things, the tension begins. This can result in divorce. It can certainly result in stress. if you hear the telephone ring and you're assuming that it's a bill collector, that stress that you start having builds up. It can cause high blood pressure. It can cause heart disease. It can actually lead people to suicide. Money is one of the biggest stressors in the world. Lack of money, bad relationships with money, needing money, not understanding money's role in your life, and arguments between two people who even have a lot of money, but they still don't have a good relationship with that money. And so we're going to talk about what you know about money as well as how you feel about money. And those two things are going to guide us on this journey. Again, remember, everybody's journey is unique. So you'll have some things in some areas that I'll talk about that will just suddenly, oh, I'm convicted. That's me. That's where I'm at. Yeah. It's like a preacher. When you go to the
If I pull off screen, she's not talking about me. I was just doing some work.
so, and then there'll be times
Except
when
for
you'll
she's
say,
probably talking about
that's
me.
not me. That's not me. So one of the things that I want you to know is that most people have a very poor relationship with money.
Okay, we got some feedback. Somebody said I'm optimistic about my money and my future and dealings with money.
Good.
Look, there we go. That's
good.
what I like. Let's be optimistic.
So the other thing I want to say to you is that your relationship with money is not about information. It is not about what you know about money. Millie teaches about credit every single week. How long you been doing this?
Over 5 years.
5 years? If any one person or any group of people have been listening to Millie over the years, and if it was all about information, she's given you enough information to completely change your life 3 times over. Your relationship with money. It's not knowledge.
No. I've given you enough to change your credit score.
Your credit score, but that's also enough to change your behaviors. It's enough if it's information.
Well, definitely. It changes behaviors.
You can go
absolutely.
on Google, you can read a book, you can take a class, you can watch videos, you can do whatever if the answer is about financial information. So think about this. Everybody in the world could have a good financial status if it was about all I need to do is get the information and apply it. Mm-hmm. That would be great. That's all you need. It's like a diet. Every diet works. It's just, will you work it? Well, what's interrupting that is the emotional part of it. And people don't want to even think about, or probably haven't even thought, I have an emotional relationship with money. But your emotional relationship with money actually influences every single other piece of every other area of your life. You know how people say, if I knew better, I would do better? Mm-hmm. It's just not true. It's just not true. We wish it was, but that is a minimizing the importance of the emotional aspect of this. You can know something and not do it. You can know that it's good for you. It's good to eat healthy, but we're not doing that all the time. It's good to exercise. We're not doing that all the time. If it was about knowledge, we would be the best parents in the world. We would have great money. Our relationships would be great and solid. We would have everything would be stable, but it's not. Emotions have so much to do with our money. How do I feel about money? How do I respond? Do I spend money because I'm unhappy? Do I spend money because I'm trying to fill a void in my life? Do I spend money because I'm trying to oppress people? Do I spend money to comfort myself?
Yes.
Yes to all of yes to all of the above.
I wasn't supposed to say that out loud.
So part of that is to understand.
I just talked about how I take Mia out. Okay, so quick break. First of all, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have questions, comments, or concerns, please, please, please put them in the comments. If you're watching from a watch party and I don't see it or respond to it, that means I didn't get it. But feel free to like, share with as many people as possible. It's free information. That's part one. Part two is, I do credit repair for a living, and I've been doing it for a while now, and we're very excited about it. But this part talks about the stuff that I can't do. So if you have questions, she's the person to talk to. So please, while you have emotional questions, that's her job. I'm not really good with this part. So make sure you like, share, put your comments in there. If y'all can't hear or anything or needs her to slow down or repeat it, please let us know. She's really awesome at this part. And even though I have a good credit score, like I'm a savage when it comes to credit, I still have emotional connections to what she does. So this isn't just for people who have bad credit. This is for people who have a relationship with money. Good, bad, or otherwise. Maybe there's more you can learn if you're at a 720, 750 or better. There's still more to learn. I got a 801 and this is a different take on it. So some of those issues I deal with, my emotional spending, I like to shop if I get real mad. And I'm really good at shopping and then going out to eat.
You call it retail therapy?
We're not going to put a title on it. I'm title free. I'm just saying.
Just if you don't label it, it doesn't exist.
Pretty much, and she's not going to keep hitting at me. So all I'm saying
is, just you, trust me.
In another couple of episodes, I'm not going to be on camera with her because she's not going to keep calling me out, and I just got to take it on all of this.
That's what I was talking about with the preacher. When what did they say? A hit dog howls.
All I'm saying is, that's why they got church online now. Now what? Back to you, Dr. Scott.
Okay, so I want you to know that your relationship with money impacts every bit of your life, every single piece of your life, including your future. If you want to change your future, change your relationship with money. There is nothing that is available to people. Houses, cars, college educations, businesses, investments, there's vacations. There's nothing that's available on this planet that you can't have if you change your relationship with money. And we'll talk about some other realistic things, like people say, my income is so low that I can't save. We're going to talk about that, because the truth of it is, no matter what you are bringing in, you can save. No matter, this works with no matter what your income is. We may talk about some other strategies that you might need to add in order for you to get ahead later on. And that's the part where Millie comes in. It's the knowledge part. But I'm talking about the relationships. Yeah, and that's another thing that people do. They spend because they don't feel like they're being loved. They spend, they buy things. Nobody's sending me flowers. I'll send myself flowers. Nobody's,
I deserve.
I deserve it. Everybody else in the club is looking good. I'm going to go out and get my face done, and I'm going to pay for it, whether I got the money in even if it's my rent money. It doesn't make any difference. People do what satisfies them emotionally. We fall to our emotions most of the time before we fall to our logic, especially women. And so we're going to talk about how we can change this.
I don't spend my rent money anymore.
So again, as I implore you to get a journal and to use the journal as we're walking through this, because I'm going to present different questions to you. And as you review the tapes or as you're going through it, you're going to want to answer these. Really take some time. Again, one of the things that I talk about is that you need to set aside time for your relationship with money. Just like with your man or your children, you have a date night or game night. You need to have a money night. You need to have a time when you're going to spend time with your money, thinking about it, planning for it, deciding where it's going to go and what it's going to do and what you want for your future with your money. So now let's start with how, if now that I've defined where my starting point is, how do I get my relationship with money back in order? This is a series. It's not, I can't tell you all the answers today. We've got to go through the journey because it is a lot to unpack. It may not seem like it, but most of us have a lifetime of poor relationships with money that we have to unpack so that we can see all the areas, not just one or two trigger areas, but all the areas where we may be having difficulty. So if you're lost, if you're ever lost, I'm saying, finding directions to a place, you can do one of the two things that I talked about before. You can stop where you are and recalibrate, or you can retrace your steps. Most people don't want to retrace their steps because it takes too much time. But if you go back to the first place where you were doing right, now in this journey, of course, it's going to be a mental going back mentally. But if you're in a journey, if you keep recalibrating, what you're doing is it's costing you more time and more money. Your journey is nowhere near as smooth, and you have no concept of why you keep getting lost. The GPS system is in control, not you. And you want to be in control of your destiny and where you're going. You want to be in control of your money. So if you keep stopping every 2 weeks and starting a new budget, if you keep stopping every 2 weeks and starting a new journey, that doesn't help you get to your future. You want to be able to have a smooth destiny and be able to follow a plan to get where you're going.
Is there any cheat nights in this plan?
Well, let me tell you, each person is going to develop their own personal saving and spending plan.
I need like a cheat day,
so that they can accommodate their needs. So this is not a rigid budget. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a relationship. Relationships are flexible. So sometimes you are in college, or you're studying, or you're going through something at work, and you need to spend a lot of time concentrating and focused on that part of what you're doing, and you're very serious. But if your child walks in and says, "Give me a tickle," that doesn't mean that you're going to say, "No, get out of my face. I can't do it right now. I'm so concentrated on this." You can stop and you can go ahead and have some fun and be redirected for a minute. If that's how we're going to go on this journey. So I don't want you to think that we're going to develop a rigid plan for your relationship with your money. This is your relationship. You're developing it so that it works for you and so that it can be productive for you. Okay?
Okay. That sounds a lot better, because
one of the things that both ways, if you're finding your way on a journey, whether you go all the way back to the starting point or whether you keep recalibrating, both of these take a lot of vigilance. Recalibrating takes way more vigilance than actually going back and correcting the journey from the beginning. So that's why I suggest that we go all the way back and work on this. The benefits of that, the benefit of recalibrating is that it seems like it's faster. It seems like if I start right here and go ahead, I'm going to be further ahead than if I go all the way back and retrace my steps. But that doesn't always put you further ahead, especially if you haven't learned what has made you become keep getting lost from the beginning. So, it's also more time consuming. You have to pay more attention to it to make sure that you're adjusted to it and everything. You have to track each and every move. You don't want to follow your money around so that you're tracking every penny, that every single day you have to open up your spending and savings plan and say, "Ooh, did I do it right? Am I doing it?" You don't want to have to be consumed by this. You want it to be a natural relationship that just flows. And you can do that if you start out on a journey. Let's go through. That's why we have to unpack all these emotional things. If we do that, you'll have such an understanding when you get to that point where suddenly your emotion is, "Oh man, my self-esteem is low. I'm getting ready to go spend some money." You'll understand that trigger and you'll say, "Wait a minute, I can do this to improve my self-esteem and my money can stay where it's at. And we can have a good relationship."
Really?
Does that make sense?
It does. But I feel like you're talking about me So
I'm not talking about
let me
you.
go back and ask some questions.
I'm not talking about
Because-
you. I'm talking about
Okay,
this
so
is
here's the
human
thing.
beings.
I'm very happy about my credit score, and I talk about it often. But let me ask this. You said when you're chasing money around. Now, I don't think of it like chasing my money around. However, I do check on my money several times a day.
We're going to work on that.
Does this mean that I'm not having a good relationship? Because I thought that I was having a good relationship with money because my score is high.
Right.
And I have money to do the things that I want to do.
Good question. That's a very good question.
So you just made me feel really bad by the way.
No, you probably are doing the right things. But one of the things that adds to our stress, especially with females, is that we monitor our relationships so much rather than allowing them to just transpire. So let me tell you what, I guarantee you, most women
always doing something
right
wrong.
now, if you open your purse, you've got some bills in your purse. Check and see if you got some bills in your purse. Any bills.
Let's see.
I'm saying unpaid bills. Do you have any bills?
Bank statement.
Okay, see, and I just said that
Discover.
off the top of my head.
You know what? We're gonna.
Okay, now let me tell you what that does.
We're not even gonna have that conversation.
That means that every single time you open your purse, you are having an encounter with money. Unconsciously or consciously, you're thinking about money. You're thinking about the bills you have to pay. When do you pay your bills? You can only pay your bill. Well, most of us can only pay our bills after we get paid. So take your bills out of your purse. You don't need that monitoring daily reminder. Take them and put them in a place so that when you have your date night, you have your relationship with money, you can go in, do what you have to do with money, and then put it away until it's time to do it again. So that you're not constantly carrying your stress around with you and noticing it, especially every time you open your purse. You're looking at this again. You don't need to monitor your money every day.
Okay. So
Now, you might monitor your investments every day, but you don't need to monitor your money, because if you're following your savings and spending plan, you're only interacting with it when it's time to save or spend. So you don't have to check it all the time. That's like running around behind your man, checking him all the time. That's what causes us stress.
Can you say that again? You said when you're following your
Savings and spending plan, you don't have to keep checking up on it. If you've got a stable relationship with your husband or your best friend or your children, you don't have to keep calling them and saying, where you at, what you doing, how you doing, okay, just checking on you. You don't have to do that, because you know that they're coming home, you know that they're going to work, you know what they're doing when they're there, that they're being productive, and you know that you haven't lost that relationship. So what you don't want to do is have to monitor your money every single day, all the time.
You just said like a whole sermon in that one sentence.
I know I said a whole sermon, because this is what causes us stress. Whether it is visual stress, whether some people put their finances up on the wall so they can see it all the time, that is stressful. It's like having a surgery and then taking a picture of your cut and putting it on the wall so you can keep watching it. You don't want to do that. You want to take this relationship out when it's appropriate and put it back when it's not. But because you're following a plan, you know that you're in the right place. It's like going on a trip. You want to look for mile markers, but you're not all the way through the trip saying, yep, I'm still on I-95. Okay, yeah, I'm still on I-95. I'm still on I-95. No, you want to watch when I-75 comes up or I-65 or whatever it is, and that's when you make your new move, but you're not monitoring it all the time. Constantly having to monitor our money, to watch it, to make sure it's going where it is what causes us daily anxiety. That anxiety builds up and it literally becomes physiological. So what happens is we're thinking about it, and our body is reacting to it. We're having more tension. So as we clamp up in our body, we start finding that our body on the inside, our systems can't handle that constant tightness. And so people start getting constipation, high blood pressure, restrictive kinds of diseases. When we don't care at all and we just let it flow, let it go, we start getting things like diarrhea and vomiting, things that are just unrestricted. We don't have good circulation when we're holding things tight, because your body reacts to all of the emotional things that are going on with you.
Wow.
Not only that, everybody around you is also reacting to it. So you get a
Somebody said they're in late, but you're speaking and you're using great relatable analogies.
Oh, wonderful. Glad. So one of the things that happens is, if you think about it, she just threw me off for a second.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. If you are monitoring all the time, you get a bill in the mail or a call from a bill collector or whatever happens, and it triggers you, and inside you're processing. When can I pay this? How can I pay this? Oh my God, my hot water heater broke. How in the world am I going to be able to fix that? I don't have the money. All that stress is going on inside of you, whether it's consciously or unconsciously. So then your child walks up to you and says, Mom, I need to finish my homework. Can you help me? And you walk into that situation with all of this stress going on with you, and you do not have the patience, the time, or the energy, or the bandwidth, the emotional bandwidth, to be able to deal with all these different things. And so you snap at your kid, or you say, not right now, I don't have time. That changes your relationship or influences your relationship with the children and the people around you, including the people you work with, including your spouse, including yourself. All of these things have an impact. So your relationship with money, once you get into a stable relationship with money, where you realize money's not going to leave me, money's going to do what I need money to do, I'm comfortable, money's giving me the stability and the security that I need, you're going to find your stress level is going to go down so low. Emergencies happen, and you're going to consider them, but you're not going to be stressed out because I can't deal with this issue. You're not going to be, who can I call? Okay, well, how do I get this money? Okay, time to hit the streets. I've heard that too. I've heard people say, okay, which boyfriend can I tap? How am I going to, okay, I got to turn this up because I got to get some money.
First of all,
I'm just saying.
You can't just be outing women. Let me just tell y'all, what she is doing right now is breaking girl code. So I just want to say, guys, don't listen to all of this. You might want to turn your girls on to this Talk to Me Tuesdays episodes. However,
these are the things that we do when money seems scarce and we have to try to pull it back in. Yeah. We start doing all kind of manipulation and all kind of strategies, and start getting because we're under stress, and we're trying to figure out how we're going to keep this relationship going and keep this relationship alive. And that is something that we discourage with you. We want this to be a smooth, workable relationship that is flowing and going well. Okay? So the one thing that we're going to have to accomplish on our journey, no matter where you are, we're going to have to accomplish some behavioral changes. Now that's saying a lot, because we have a tendency as human beings to establish a pattern, and we get into a rut. It's a rut of thinking. It's our way of doing things. It's our way of being. It's our normal go-to pattern. In criminology, they call it your modus operandi. How do you operate? And I'm going to talk to you about how you can change that behavior so that you can get a different destination. Otherwise, you're just going to keep going in circles. So I'm also going to tell you that to change behavior, you have to change your thoughts. So let me give you a good scenario. Let's say that you are in a classroom and it's a math class, and math is a little bit difficult for you. And so you come to a midterm exam, and you take your exam, and you get a 63 on your test. And so immediately the thought comes in, man, this is harder than I thought. I'm really stupid. This teacher is really not good. Oh my God, I'm never going to be able to accomplish this. I'm going to fail.
Class.
I'm going to fail. Okay, I'm done. I'm out. All these different thoughts come into your head, and probably 1,000 different other ones, because you got a 63. You immediately have a thought about that. Then that thought determines how you're going to react, right? Mm-hmm. Just because you think that, that's what's making you say, I need to drop this class. Mm-hmm. I'm never coming back and talking to this teacher, or whatever's going on. Mm-hmm. But then you get some new information. And let's say the information is that the highest grade in the class was a 64. See how your thought immediately changes? Now, instead of being one of the dumbest people in the class, you think, whoa, I'm right up at the top. Okay, I got this. All right, then maybe it's not me. Maybe it is the teacher's style.
65.
Maybe whatever. But your thoughts immediately change. Now you're acing the class. Mm-hmm. Now that's how your thoughts control your behavior. One of the things that we talk about, that you see every day, is this discussion about COVID-19 and people wearing masks or social distancing. If they believe it, they start wearing masks. If they believe that this is going to protect them, they understand that the disease is there for most people. They actually accept it. And then they determine what their behavior is going to be in response to that. For people who don't believe it, or they don't believe they're going to get it, they don't care about social distancing or getting masks. Even though that is the correct response, they just don't believe it, so they don't do it. And a lot of them keep on partying, and they come up with COVID-19. And then a lot of them die. Because whether you accept it or not, it is real. Same thing about your money. Whether you believe the things I'm saying or not, you will find out in your life that these are principles that work. They are true. If you have a poor relationship with money, you are going to have financial trouble. If you have a good relationship with money, you are going to have a good, stable financial pattern. That's just truth, whether you accept it or not. The more you understand that your thoughts control your behavior, the more you have to control your thoughts about money. That's why we're on this journey, so that we can understand your thoughts about money.
Are you going to tell me some good thoughts to take today? Because right now I just feel like I've done wrong in life.
I'm going to go through these next 4 things I'm going to explain to you, and this is the therapeutic part of about our journey. I want you to understand how therapists look at people when they're doing any kind of therapy, and you'll understand why we're taking this particular journey and what you're going to be looking for in the journey. So in order to change behavior, therapists look at different ways. There are many different ways to change behavior, but the 4 primary ways are what I'm going to talk about. The first one is called solution focused, and that is getting to the answer. We don't have to think about what I did in the past or anything like that. I have to make a decision right now. And so I pull on all my strengths and my experiences, and I solve the problem. So if I'm trying to decide which school I want my child to go to, I'm going to quickly, I don't have to go into the past and say what school did I go to when I was a kid, and what do I think about this kind of school and that. I'm going to look at my options, look at what kind of money I have, look at what kind of resources, and I'm going to move from where I am to solution. That's solution focused. We solve problems that way. We change how we're thinking based on how fast we have to have that decision. Then there's cognitive behavioral change. And cognitive behavioral change is actually recognizing when my thoughts are going awry, stopping them, recalibrating them, and then moving forward. We call it catching the gnats, negative automatic thoughts. So if I have an automatic thought that says, nobody likes me, I'm just unlovable. Nobody likes me. Everywhere I go, I can't make friends. I just am unlovable. We take a reality test of that. And so the therapist might say to a person that says that, nobody loves you? Can you tell me one person that loves you? One person that cares about you? Well, my mother, okay, and my sister. So that automatically makes that untrue. Now I have caught that negative thought that is untrue. I have tested it against a truth, and therefore I have to throw it out. I can say that thought cannot govern me. It's like with the exam that we took. I got a 63. I thought it was bad. I tested it against reality that the best score was 64. And so now I have to throw that thought away. It doesn't govern me anymore. This is the same thing we do with math. If your kid says 1 + 4 = 18, you might even have to get little balls or something and show them so that they can throw that thinking away. And now they can use the real test, a reality test that works. Okay, if that's wrong, then what is true?
Right.
So now the truth that I was saying nobody likes me, I have to say there are some people that like me. Now that changes my attitude. It changes my behavior. And the more people I start thinking and adding that up, the more I start saying, oh, well, now I am loved. Okay, I can get over that negative thinking. So that's cognitive behavioral change. Okay. It moves our maladaptive thinking to adaptive and positive thinking. The other step is mindfulness. And I know that this is a moment in time where people are into mindfulness, yoga, chanting, things that put you in the moment. And what that does is it helps us get in touch with our emotions. What am I really feeling? Most of us are moving so fast that if I say, right now, what's going on in your body or in your mind? Is there any stress in your body or your mind? You can't identify it, or you may not be able to say where it's at. Mindfulness helps us to stop, take a moment, and feel where we're feeling pain, feel where we're feeling energy, negative energy, positive energy. And once we understand that, we're able to move forward and change the way we think. So one of the things, Oprah wrote a book, and if you haven't read it, it is good for this journey. It's called Making the Connection. Making the Connection is what she wrote about how she had to learn about food. She was having emotional, like all of us, having emotional issues, and she was connecting it to her comfort, which is food. That's normally what we do. Money or food or sex or shopping or work or whatever it is, alcohol, drugs, that we connect that emotional thing to try to fill that need.
Right.
So once you are able to make that connection, that I feel in mindfulness, you stop and you say, I feel sad today. I feel this because what? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with me right now, but I just feel, I have this feeling of sadness. And normally I would go out and shop because
absolutely, because shopping makes me happy.
Yeah, the emotion comes on me, and I don't stop and take time to identify it, define where it came from, or say what else I can do. The solution is automatically, let me
shopping.
Spend some money. If I spend some money, I'm going to feel better. That's what we normally do. Mindfulness helps us to stop and say, I'm sad. I wonder why I'm sad. Oh, I'm sad because I haven't talked to my child in 2 months. I need to stop and call my child. I need a relationship with my child. I need to do that. I do need to do that more. Or I need to.
Mommy, did somebody not call you in 2 months? Because I will.
No, baby. Okay. I'm saying these are things.
Okay,
no,
I was just saying, like if somebody ain't called you in 2 months, we'll go ahead and handle that right now.
So mindfulness helps us to stop and be able to actually identify the problem or the area of need, and translate it into what is the healthiest way that I can satisfy this need or this emotion. So mindfulness is a good technique. The other thing that we consider is, as a therapist, do we flush or do we feel? So feel, F-I-L-L, flush as in flush a toilet. So sometimes people come to us and they have so many negative emotions and maladaptive behaviors that they're going through that no matter how much positive things we want to put inside of them, they're too full of negativity. That means we have to flush this negativity out before we can fill it with positivity. That's called flush or fill. You have to decide whether your relationship with money is so convoluted and complex and dysfunctional that you need to flush out a lot of things that you know or think or behave, or whether you're ready to actually say, well, I don't have that many bad things. I can feel it by getting new information, new activities, and new behaviors. Those are the kinds of things that we're going to be exploring and doing on this journey. And so with that, I want you to understand where we are. I want to bring you to where we are. We started out what is your relationship with money? We've identified that. We've identified today where our starting place is, what is our status of our relationship with money. And we've talked about the reasons why we need to go on an emotional journey to understand and recalibrate our behaviors so that we can get a positive outlook and a positive future on where we're going with our money. Next week, we're going to talk
hold on one quick second. The last one that Vicky got was mindfulness. The fourth one was flush or fill. And that's when you have so many negative behaviors that you have to decide if you're going to flush it out and get rid of all the negative stuff, or if you're empty enough that you can fill it up with positive stuff, right? Okay, right. So we got
So
that.
you don't want to add good, just like your house. If you're going to renovate it, you don't want to say, you have to say, wait, this house has too many, it's just too old, I have to renovate every single thing in the house. Get rid of it. What is that show?
House Hunters Flip This House. I don't know.
The one where you say,
love it or list it.
Love it or list it. This is a love it or list it moment. Does it need so much repair that you say, I need to actually walk away from this? Or do you say, well, I can do these 2 or 3 things and it'll be okay?
And I love
that's
it.
the flush or feel. Okay?
I got you.
And then I love it. So that's where we're at today. From here, we're going to go into our next part of the journey is we're going to start looking at our symptoms of money trauma. Have we been traumatized by money? And if so, how do we fix it? Trauma can be overcome, but if you've been traumatized, you can't just go on with your life as though it never happened. That trauma is still there, and it is guiding and influencing everything that you do. We have to deal with the trauma of money. So that's where we're going to be next week. Make sure you bring your journals, because we want to take this journey and we're going to be successful.
Yeah. And if you need a journal and you don't know where to get one from, my sister Tisha got them. My Life, My Blueprint, right? Don't take my mug. See? Y'all just go visit Tisha. She'll show you all about that. But seriously, guys, I don't know what kind of journal you use. I actually do have her journal, and it's kind of cool. And I like it. But anywho, make sure you guys are available next week. If you have questions, I'm going to let us run over a few minutes because I know we covered a lot just then. So if you have questions, feel free to put them up here. I'm going to read back through some of these comments because I saw a couple of things that I definitely wanted to touch on. Okay. I got a couple of feeds going here. So if you see me read off something and you don't see it, that's because I got 2 groups going talking about this. And I have some people sharing and they're getting information as well. So let me go back through some of these comments really quickly.
One of the good things about this relationship, and actually, Credit One, I used to work at Credit One, and I got the information side of it. And then I kept saying, but people aren't doing this. There's a problem. Why aren't people just changing? And so I started thinking about how therapy and social work, because I'm a social worker by trade. So I started thinking about how people needed this extra added piece of the emotional, the social work part of it to be married to this. And so Credit One actually sent me to school to get my certification in financial social work so that we could come and we could do this tag team type of thing so that you could deal with the information and the tools with Millie and you could deal with the emotional part of it with me. So these together, we're gonna get you where you need to be.
We call her Dr. Mommy. I've gotten a few questions that ask, what's your name? I call her Dr. Mommy because I'm special. But her name is Dr. Cassandra Scott. What's all that little stuff after?
MSW, FSW, Master in Social Work and Financial Social Work, Certified Financial Social Worker.
So she like really does a lot with this, like for real. And I appreciate it. So spending time, some of the key points was spending time with money.
Yes.
So you're supposed to have like a money date night. Should I buy liquor for this?
You should have at least 1 hour every week that you spend alone with you and money. At least 1 hour that you spend alone with your money. And that's it. So you're not dragging that all everywhere you go all the time, monitoring money and
you said so
around.
just an hour maximum,
or at least an hour.
A day?
Some people a week. An hour a week. That's all you need. Now, if you decide that you need an hour and a half or 2 hours in the beginning, that's okay because you might be writing in your money journal as well.
Okay.
But usually, once you get stable, an hour a week is all you need to spend with your money.
Okay.
To keep that relationship stable.
And we're no longer calling it a budget. We are now calling it
a
personal savings and spending plan.
It's a personal savings and spending plan. That's actually what you're going to create.
So now the 4 options to know what our status is with money are pessimistic, tolerable, optimistic, and stable.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so which one are you?
That's your starting point of your journey, defining where you are in your relationship with money.
Okay.
So you'll know where you want to go and how you're going to start and how you're going to get there.
Okay. And the end goal for everybody is to be stable, right?
The end goal for everybody should be to be stable. When you're in the stable category, you're following your personal savings and spending plan. You have paid down debt. You have assets. Can you imagine today if you were debt free? If you literally had no, now I'm not talking about your regular bills like your electricity and lights and stuff like that, but it could even mean no house note. What would you do if you were debt free? If you didn't have the stress of debts and money was still coming in? That's where we want to go in our journey with money. That is a stable, good, satisfying, wealth-building position to be in. And that's where we want to head.
Now, once again, it's not a budget. We have a personal savings and spending plan.
Yes.
That actually does sound cooler.
It sounds a lot better. And it is
I actually
mine.
smile when I say it.
And notice I didn't say just we have a savings and spending plan. We have a personal saving and spending plan. So my saving and spending plan looks totally different than Millie's saving and spending plan. If you go online or different places and you're looking for a budget, they usually have exactly the same kind of categories and things. It's like everybody else. But I'm unique. So I want my personal saving and spending plan.
I do too. I'm going to create me a personal savings and spending plan in 1 hour in the week, and then I'm not going to check my account 17 times a day. Like when I get off of here, I'm not going to look at it.
No, we're going to get out of the habit of running around behind our money, chasing it down, thinking that that's going to give us a better relationship.
And we're no longer chasing money. So,
no.
Okay, one of the big things, and I will just tell you this, for me, one of the things that you said that was very personal, first of all, when you told me go to my purse and I found bills in my purse, which is normal. I'm just saying it's not that.
That's what we do. We carry our trouble with us.
But learning to take them out of my purse, because if I only pay bills at a certain time, there's no need for me to carry my trouble with me.
Right.
Not that I look at my bills as trouble.
Stress.
But
it's stress. And there's good stress and there's bad stress, but it's stress.
It's a bill.
Yeah.
It's not shopping. So I do get that, and I really do appreciate this. If you have questions, specific questions, please feel free to ask them. She has dedicated some time to us, and I appreciate this because she is a full-time professor. So she actually does have work to do and a class in a little bit. So I really do want to say thank you again.
I love it.
If this is your first time joining us, we went back and we do this the first Tuesday of every month. We only do it once a month because it takes a lot to get through this, like to unpack this. We want to give you guys time to go back and rewatch it and unpack it. I went back and rewatched the first episode 2 or 3 times already. I would suggest always going back. If you're going to follow this journey with us, go back and watch this episode. Watch the last one, even if you participated with us, because it's a lot in here. And, you know, sometimes for me, even while I'm doing this, she says something and it takes me to a place, and in my mind, I'm following the place, but I'm not present on this. And so I miss something else. So then I'm like, hold on, wait. She said some more stuff. So you want to go back and look at it so you can have a better understanding and identify where you are, because we want all of us to come to the end of stability. No matter where your credit score is, there is an emotional relationship that you have. I have a good credit score. I don't necessarily have, based on what I'm learning, I don't have the best relationship with money. And keep in mind, everyone, that the behaviors and the things that you have, you're actually modeling for those people who are watching you. Be it your children, be it the people in the community who look up to you, us 750 Better people, y'all who have conquered the challenge, we're talking about you too. If you are holding on to your money because you'll never go back, this might be for you.
Absolutely.
I will tell you personally, I am never going back to bad credit. Now, that may mean I won't buy stuff. That may mean I won't go on vacations that I need to go on. That may mean I am making sacrifices that I should not make out of fear, as opposed to from a good, healthy place of, no, I don't really need that, as opposed to, oh God, no, if I do that. So I know what I am learning in the last month to identify where I'm at and what place I am giving, and the control that money has, that even though I kind of thought I told my money what to do, it kind of looks like it might still run me a little bit. So I know where I'm spending it, but it still kind of runs me a little bit. So I'm definitely going to work on this with you guys. So if you see me back out the screen and get real quiet, it's because she's talking to me too. Because she talks to me too.
I talk to myself as I took my own money journey. So it can be very stressful. It can be very insightful, but that doesn't mean it's easy.
Yes.
It is challenging to look at yourself.
McAllister, we want you to upload that to your customer portal, or you can inbox us right on Credit One USA, and I will follow up with that with you. So everything you get related to your credit, we definitely want to do that. But going back to this question I got.
One of the things that I did want to say is that hopefully we'll be through this journey in it shouldn't take us 6 months. So that
6 meetings?
6 meetings, we should be at least to a place where you can have your personal savings and spending plan, and we can start moving forward. So this isn't one of those therapy sessions where you're in it for years and years and years. We can continue to enhance it, but at least in the next 6 months, you'll be able to actually see some changes and be able to have your progress. So it's not an unending, we're going to counsel you forever. That's not what's going to happen.
We're going to do
some people want to know, when am I going to get to the end of the journey? Okay, it is a journey, but 6 months you should be pretty much at the end of it.
Good. So 6 months and I'm going to be fine.
Yes.
I like it. Okay, so Miss Clark asked, she said, my mid-credit score is a 777. I just purchased a house and I'm going to purchase a refrigerator and a washer. I will get the furniture later. Okay, cool. Good. My question is, do I borrow the money from the credit union, which I have an account with, or finance it through the appliance store? I don't want to hurt my score. So here's the thing. With a score like that, it depends on how much available credit you have. My suggestion would be to check with the appliance store to see if they offer like 0% for 18 months or something like that. If they do, it's probably going to be cheaper than doing it alone through the bank. So look and see what options that you can that's going to save you the most money or make or improve your credit. So basically, let's just say either I put it on a card that says 0% for 18 months, make sure I pay it off, make sure my utilization still stays under 30%. And then I would look into
Good question.
the bank if they have it at a lower percent interest, or even if you have like a rewards card that you can get cash back or points for it. Look at those options to see if there's a way that you can make money off of this before you go doing that. So that would be my suggestion, is to look to see which one has the better option. And you may also want to consider looking at a credit card that has a high enough limit that would pay for this and give you bonus points and has cash back. So it's a couple of options that you can do with that. A lot of people were saying, thank you. Thanks, Doc. You're so awesome.
Good.
When are we doing this again? They said if they could do it in bi-weekly payment, if they could do this in bi-weekly meetings, they could do this in 3 months instead of 6.
All right. See, that's how people are. Let me get my journey over with.
So definitely we'll do that. I have no idea who you, okay.
She's looking through the questions.
I really am. And there's 2 whole sets of questions. So doing this, when to pay it, don't chase your money like a husband. I've made mistakes with frivolous spending, and I'm trying to make sure my kids had everything. I know better now, especially now that they're teenagers. Okay. Am I a family member? Nope, I don't know these people. Yes, I do live weeklies, but the first Tuesday of the month is when Dr. Money is here. So she's only here with us once a month, where she does the emotional part of credit and finances. I am here the other weeks of the month where I do the other stuff with credit. But if you ever have credit questions, you can always give us a call, shoot a message on Facebook, inbox us, whatever. We definitely want to help you. Let's do that. Wow. I check my account daily. I do too.
Nope. Too much monitoring. Too much stress.
I'm not going to keep checking my account daily. I'm going to start checking my account weekly.
Good.
During my time, and I'm going to set me a goal of starting that by the next time we meet.
Good.
So I'm gonna give myself 30 days to wean me off of looking at my account, but I am gonna check it when I get off here.
Your bills.
And I'm gonna take my bills out my purse. You know what? I'm gonna get a little purse so that I don't have to keep. No, I'm not. I'm gonna take some of my bills out my purse.
All your bills.
I'm gonna
take all your bills out of your purse. Put them in an area. Get you a little, like those coupon boxes or something, put them in there and pull them out when you're ready to have your relationship with money. Think about yourself like Midas. Midas used to go into his gold room, King Midas. He used to go into his room and count his money at a particular time. That's what you're going to do. You're going to go in, you're going to count it, you're going to tell it what to do, you're going to pay your bills, you're going to send everybody where they got to go, and then you're done until next time whether it's every 2 weeks when you're paying your bills or once a month when you're paying your bills. And that's the end of it.
Is anybody else completely terrified by that, or is it just me? And I just want to know, because I feel like in the depths of my soul, I trembled completely when she said that.
So let me tell you what, that's one of the reasons why we hire private detectives to follow our mates around, because we're terrified that they're cheating on us, that something's gonna happen in between this relationship. Or we ourselves get in our cars, follow him around. I gotta find out where he's going. What's he doing? What's he doing?
Coming to the door.
That is not the proper way to have a relationship. It is too stressful. And we're going to stop that. We're going to stop that.
I literally just had a small heart attack. Okay, see, I'm not the only person. Thank you.
We're going to have such a good, hearty relationship with our family, with our money, that we're going to be able to carry this through. That we're going to be able to carry this on without constantly monitoring and nagging our money. We don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. You can have a very healthy relationship with money by meeting money and having a good heart-to-heart, loving conversation and plan, and then once a week, and then saying, okay, we're good to go.
Okay.
You're going to find out that it's going to be there. And when you do, you're going to say, I had no idea how much stress I was going through because of money. because I was dealing with it every day. Every time you open that bank account and look at it again, you have something. Did it go right? Did it do right? Is it okay? Is it overdrawn? Is anything else in there?
Listen,
as though you think somebody's dropping money into your account every 3 hours. It's not. So you don't have to do that.
You're not gonna sit here and just call me out and
I'm just
saying,
saying,
like,
all that.
I'm sorry, yo. She out here reading my journal. Tell her get her own journal.
All that stress, you literally can get rid of it. You do not have to go through that. You don't. You don't.
I'm sorry. Listen, I was supposed to be a better example. I thought, let me tell y'all, I'm gonna just be real with y'all. When I invited my mother to help me with this, I really, really, really did think that I was gonna be okay. Oh no! This is you calling me out.
I know,
This,
but it needs to get colder in here because we're all both getting a little frustrated.
listen, but seriously, I really thought that I was good because I had a good score and I understand how money works and how people look at you.
Thank you, baby.
I really thought that I was okay. And this just kind of reveals that even though you look okay on the outside and that other creditors would say, oh, she's doing fine, that there's still development. So I appreciate you, and I can't say it enough, how much I appreciate you for being willing to take me on this journey.
Good.
For free.
Yes.
I just wanted to say again.
It is free.
Okay, look, I just want to make sure you...
In the future, one of the things, and we've talked about this kind of esoterically, but one of the things that Credit One is thinking about is in the future, how can we incorporate this kind of thing into something that we are actually providing for our customers one-on-one?
That's true. Yes, because the thing is, the same way we're doing it right now, kind of a test run, not necessarily a test run, but we knew it was so important that we didn't want to wait. We are definitely we are definitely looking forward to and excited by the ability to have this incorporated in your normal credit repair process. So it's definitely exciting. I have calmed down a smidge now. So I want to say, this person said, I've been afraid for years that I didn't have enough money. Then I get to making decent money thinking that I wouldn't be afraid anymore, but I am. Yeah, been there.
Yeah, because part of what it is it's one of the things you can look at other people when they're making relationship changes. Let's say you have a friend and she just got out of a bad relationship. She picks another guy and he's the same thing, same house, different furniture, and you can see it and you're saying, no, oh, that's another bad decision. Because she hasn't changed her behavior, she's going to that same routine thing that she normally does. This is her selection process, and these are the questions that she's asking. Her preferences are coming in. So we usually repeat the same behavior, whether it's more money, less money, or whatever our relationship was in the past, it's going to be our relationship in the future until we stop it and find out what it is, where we can correct our behavior and therefore change our relationship and our future. Okay.
Well, I think that's enough. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for your questions, your comments, concerns, and for sharing with us. I think it's really amazing that you guys have opened up to us, and just like we're opening up to you. I look forward to seeing you guys all next week with Millie for Talk to Me Tuesday. We will be talking about regular credit stuff in preparation for the next month's heartache. But and I will be telling y'all how this journey is going with this not checking my bank account every 17 minutes. So we're going to work on this, but we're going to get through it together. Until next time, you guys take care of yourselves and each other. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. And again, thanks so much for watching, and good luck on your 750 score challenge. We'll talk to you soon.